So, what is history's biggest lie?
Well, that's a big, that's a big question to start with. I think the biggest, for me, it's a personal thing, the biggest lie of history is what I call in my book the conceit of we, the idea that we are on islands or spits of land or within borders have some unique sort of nationalist identity inherent within us. So if you take the English, for example, of which I am one, the English like to tell themselves that they have the greatest sense of humor in the world, that they have some sort of inherent strength that comes out at times of need, like the magic potion in the Asterix books, you know, and that the Dunkirk spirit, the Blitz spirit and all this stuff, and that this is a unique thing to us, and that if you follow back through our unique history, we are unique at every turn and corner, and that every step on that journey was somehow leading to some moment of great grand destiny. Ironically, that is not unique to the English or the British or anybody else. Pretty much every nation on earth has a conceit of we and a belief that they are somehow at the centre of the world and at the centre of things. You know, and most nations place themselves at the centre of maps, which I only discovered when I was a child on holiday in Canada, and I was staring at this map on my cousin's wall, and Canada was in the middle of the map, and I thought, what the hell's that about? Everybody knows the Greenwich the Greenwich line goes through Greenwich, yeah? Why have they put Canada? And then some years after that, I lived in Indonesia, and Indonesia slap bang in the middle of the map. So yes, I think that is the greatest lie of history, that nation states are themselves, you know, complete made up conceits. And I think once you start to unpick that, all the other lies of history sort of come apart like tissue in a hot bath. You know, it's the whole fabric of it falls apart. Really, that's what my book's about, and I think that's what annoys people about it, because it's a fundamental truth. You know, nations did not spring into life like you know, early little fish type things. Yeah.
Do you think that sort of patriotism or love of wherever people are from is like a really inherently human thing? Or do you think like the idea of the nation has kind of been birthed because it's a very useful tool for governance?
So we are undoubtedly tribal in instinct, and that obviously goes way, way, way back to when we were tribal. All of us, not us, all of our ancestors were tribal people. I was doing it myself, you see. Certainly, for most of history, there was no such thing as a nation state, and people weren't bothered. You know, if you're a serf toiling the ground, your loyalty is to your family and to your master. You know, the master of your estate, whoever that might be. Yeah, the notion of a nation is incredibly modern. You know, it's only really in the last 300 or 400 years, and yes, they have been totally used by rulers to motivate and, you know, they call it the footballification, don't they, of politics in the modern era. That's really been going on for a long time. Everybody comes behind a flag and comes behind a national anthem and all this. And I find that deeply, deeply depressing, to be honest. And the longer I live, the more depressing I find it, because you find otherwise quite sensible people starting to do it. You know, I have quite often on Twitter, I'll have people say, oh, you would say that you're English. You know, like I chose to be born in Essex. like I'm inherently like Boris Johnson because I live in England. That I have ownership of Brexit because I was born in England, even though I didn't vote for it. That everything bad that England has done is somehow belongs to me because I live and am born in England. And that's complete nonsense. You know, that there are people who think the same way as I do across England and across the world, I think. Yeah.
The notion of tribalism based simply on like the location of your birth is something like, being from Northern Ireland, I'm very aware of the fact that, you know, if you were born 5 miles in a different direction, that you might have a totally different worldview. So it's definitely not an alien concept to me. The one thing I wanted to ask actually there, you said that the idea of the nation state was only 300 or 400 years old. Would you put Rome and Greece in that kind of category if you go back to that kind of era? Because they were quite proud of the sort of Athens or Sparta or Rome.
Yeah, they were very broad in their ambition, though, weren't they? I mean, the British nicked the idea, if you take the Romans, of the Pax Romana and that anybody could be a Roman citizen. It was a very European Union idea, isn't it? That anybody could be a Roman. You didn't have to be born in Rome or within what we now call Italy to be a Roman. It was a bit different with Greece, but yeah, I mean, ancient city-states, yes, they had the people who were allowed to be citizens within them would have had a sense of their nation-state, that they were city-states. But the idea of modern countries like France or the United Kingdom or Italy or whatever, this is a relatively modern concept.
Thanks for making it all the way to the end of the podcast. Don't forget our sponsor, ExpressVPN, and my book, Brexit, The Establishment Civil War, can both be found in the links in the description below. And also, please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. It's the best way to help us grow. Until next time, thanks for listening. Screw the hedge funds.
You can make as many rules as you want, but if there's no teeth behind them, what's the point?
Well, like Citadel is potentially just gone in a few months. It feels like financial institutions, that they are all laughing at us by buying GME. Screw the hedge funds. Like, I will lose my entire investment if it brings them down.
Why on earth, last May, could you buy the entire company for $200 million?
What's been happening on Reddit and in social media and in the marketplace has never been seen before.
I argue that nothing is off the table. There is nothing off the table when dealing with the volumes of money in something as big as the United States stock market.
The hedge funds have clearly underestimated a group of people raised on Friday night World of Warcraft raids.
Dark pools, they're another mechanism to manipulate and cheat. Mainstream journalists don't say these things for a number of reasons. One is their sources are the people that I'm talking about, and so they can't call somebody a crook.
Superstonk and the other communities that have emerged are a hive mind, the likes of which we have never seen before. It's madness and brilliance, insanity and genius all rolled into one. It's very possible that Citadel will be gone in a few months. And not just Citadel, but the entire financial system has the potential to come crashing down. These crooks continue to gamble recklessly with the world economy, and this could be the moment that they finally get their justice.